over my lifetime, I've always me and my uncle Aaron, we're born 2 days apart, exactly 10 years apart. So over the years, I'd always know that my birthday is on September the 26th. Aaron's birthday is on September the 28th. And if I'm turning 30, he's turning 40. If I'm turning 50, he's turning 60. This past Sunday was September the 26th, and I turned 66. This past Tuesday would have been Aaron's 76th birthday. He passed the day before on that Monday. So I'd like to maybe use this little video this evening to, good Lord, Eddie, stop it, to talk about the passing of my Uncle Aaron and his wife Shirley. I got a call from Connie Monday week ago. And I knew that they were both sick with COVID. I knew that they had went to the hospital, that, they had just got really sick with it. And both of them went to the hospital. And I knew mentally that a lot of people die from COVID, that a lot of families have lost people. I've known so many people in business and peripheral friends and so forth that have passed because of COVID. You just don't think that it would, you don't think it would hit so close to home. So anyhow, Monday, their daughter Connie, my cousin, she called me. And she was just, right to the point. She said, Eddie, the doctor's saying Mama and Daddy both are not going to make it. And just to hear that, it was just so odd, so strange. And of course, I'm sorry, and I'm trying to comfort her also, because over the years, my cousin Connie's always looked to me to somebody that maybe had a word or had a way to comfort, or she went to my church and was a singer at Southeast Christian Church for years and years, and she's, there was just an extra special layer of something between us, because of all those years. She endured 3 times a week of me preaching in revivals, and she was there every service. Bless her heart. But anyhow, as I was talking to her Monday, I said, Connie, how should I pray? And because there comes times in life where that's all there is left. I don't look at prayer as a first step to stuff. I feel like most stuff we can figure out. We can go to a doctor. We can go seek mental health. We can go to AA. There's things that we can do that would supersede prayer. That we can go to. But I'm going to tell you, there's certain times in life where the only thing left is prayer. So, and in those situations, I do believe in the power of prayer and the power of intention. So I asked her, I said, Connie, how should I pray? Because I told her when I get home, I was at the shop, I said, when I get home, I want to just go sit in my garden and I just want to pray, And she told me, she said, Eddie, I don't know how to pray, how to tell you to pray. Because it reaches a point where it's almost a waste of energy to pray that God raise somebody up, that God, restore them. My Aunt Shirley had finished her treatment. She had been in a struggle with cancer. Aaron's 76. Shirley, if I'm mistaken, she's 74 or 72. My Uncle Aaron, until this COVID, was out and about. He could chop wood if he wanted to. Of course, he's an old man. So I want to share this with you. I came home that Monday evening, and I went out and sat in my garden over here at a little place I like to sit. And like the old song, It's me again, Lord. I got a prayer that needs an answer. I just sat there and began to talk to God. That's all prayer is just talking to God. I just begin to talk to God. And for whatever reason, I just begin to say, God, be near them. Both of them was there dying in the hospital. God, be near them. And then as I begin to just almost cry out to God just to be near them, begin to just weep. And sometimes the spirit and the wounding of the heart just causes a spiritual weeping. And it's almost like a humbling before God, but at the same time, it's almost like a purification of the soul. So I couldn't pray nothing else. I just began to pray, God, be near them. And for some of you that's listening to this, you might think, well, that seems an odd thing to pray for God to be near somebody when God is in us, He's around us, He's through us, He's over us, He's under us, He's in the very breath that we breathe. To pray that God be near somebody. I'll tell you why. I hadn't intended to pray that way, but my spirit began to just say, Lord, be near them. Woo, glory to God. Lord, be near them. So here's why I prayed, Lord, be near them. I know that when you feel like God is near, there's an overwhelming sense of peace that settles over you. My prayer for them was let peace settle over their spirit. Let peace settle over their hospital bed. Let peace surround them. Lord, be near them in this time of their departure. Connie told me that her mama passed very peacefully and that her dad passed very peacefully. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I had all these weird feelings that just kind of filtered down over me over the last. Shirley passed Wednesday, and Aaron passed Monday. They had been married since they were kids. They passed 5 days apart within each other. If I ain't mistaken, they're both being cremated today on this Wednesday. There's going to be a memorial service coming up. A place is rented weeks down the road where we'll put together posters and banners and celebrate their life, celebrate their... I thought about this, and maybe some of you that's ever been estranged from other parts of your family or never felt really... I'll just be honest with you, there's some parts of my family I could care less about. I wouldn't go to their funeral. I just, people go, oh, family. No, I've had a different journey with my family. Some of you may have with your family. When they lived in Atlanta for all these years, Aaron and Shirley, for years and years, we lived across the street from each other. I lived on the corner of Dobbs and Melrose. They lived across the street on Dobbs. And Lord, Aaron would get on my nerves so bad sometimes because he had panic attacks back then. And he loved me, and he looked at me like I was a man of God, a child of God. I was a pastor. Bless his heart, he'd come pick guitar at church for me. Every once in a while, he'd get up and sing. But when he'd have panic attacks, whatever, he'd come for me for comfort, and we'd do things. Sometimes we'd just ride around town. I'd just calm him down. He'd get a little bit... He's shaky. Some people might understand this as they moved out to Barnesville. Him and Shirley sold their house, bought them 5 acres of land, had them a home out there. He wanted to be out in the country. And although over the years that space where we didn't visit that often, we'd still see each other occasionally, but we didn't visit. I mean, that's a ride out there. It's like 50, 60 miles up there. As long as they were alive, and this is what I was going to say to some of you might understand this that have family scenarios. As long as they were alive, I felt like I actually had family still on earth. I loved my Uncle Aaron. Loved my Aunt Shirley. as long as they were out there in Barnesville. I'd call Shirley. I called Shirley about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I kept calling her on her cell phone, not on her cell phone, but on the number I had of their house, and she wouldn't answer for a couple of weeks. So I finally called Connie. I said, Connie, my God, what's wrong with you, Mama? I've been calling her for about 2 weeks, and they don't answer that phone out there. And she said, Eddie, Mom and Daddy staying with me. Shirley was taking treatments, and she spent the summer staying at Connie's house, her and Aaron Bratcher. So Connie texted me her cell phone number, and I called her, and I told her, I said, Shirley, I said, are you doing all right? She said, yeah, I'm doing fine, Eddie. I said, well, I just wanted to check in with you. I know you've been taking your treatments, and you've been dealing with the cancer that you had, and I've always kept in touch with Shirley over the years, more so than Aaron. So as we were, my last conversation I had with her a few weeks back, and I told her, I said, Shirley, you know you're never gonna pass, you're never gonna die until you decide to die. She said, Eddie, do you think that? I said, when you make the choice to you die, that you're going to die, you'll die. I said, until then, I was speaking about the cancer in her body and the frailness of her. I said, I do believe that. I believe that when people are like, oh, they're holding on, oh, they're fighting, they're putting up a hard fight. I'm like, when death starts to come and you decide your time you're going to go. And I thought about that as she laid in the hospital. That conversation just kind of revisited me. I believe there reached a point on that hospital bed where she decided, this is the time I'm going to go. The other thing I wanted to make sure of the last time I talked to her, and I had no clue that this was about to happen, because she was my favorite aunt, more so than Mary. More so than Betty. Good heavens, Eddie, stop it. More so than Lottie, more so than Annie Ruth, more so than Carol. Shirley was always my favorite. But anyway, you just don't ever know at our age. So I just asked her this question. I said, Shirley, do you really know how much I've always loved you? And she busted out laughing. And she said, yes, Daddy. I've always known how much you love me. Anyway, her and my Uncle Aaron passed in the last few days. The song that I posted yesterday and dedicated to two special people, it was to Aaron and Shirley. I used to sing that song years ago when they came to church. I wrote it for my Aunt Annie Ruth. Connie had texted me yesterday and said, Annie, would you sing that song and dedicate it to two special people and send it to me? And I did. And she said, you can post it on Facebook if you like. I was waiting on Connie to go on her page and tell about her mom. I didn't, I don't take no joy in trying to share that somebody's passed. It's been an odd week. We're all going to go through these times. My Aunt Carol that lives over in South Carolina is the only child of my Granny Bratcher that's still alive, and Granny had a quiver of children. With the passing of Aaron, that was the last boy. I love them two people. Everybody that knew me. Even when I told Kathy the other day, a couple of days ago, my former wife of many years, I told her that Aaron had passed, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She said, You were always so special to Aaron. Ever since you was a little boy, he always looked out for you and took care of you. And yeah, I love them two people. Um, it's a reminder to me that COVID is real, that many families have lost. Um, I could write books and books and books about me and Aaron and our junk cars, and I'm, 16 and he's 26, and all the times we went to Panama City and go fishing on the weekend, and we had to be back on Monday to go to work, and we'd sleep in the car together. Wasn't no big deal. We were young. Go by my Aunt Shirley's house. She said, Eddie, I just finished cooking a pot of Great Northern beans and got some fresh cornbread on top of the stove. And she'd fry potatoes and cut up onions in them. And I was always so welcome. Anytime I pulled up at their house, we never called. We never say, I'm coming over to see you. I just pull up, and they're like, Lord, there's Eddie. Come on in, Eddie. God bless all you people. I just want to talk about my aunt and uncle, Aaron and Shirley Bratcher. They went home to be with the Lord. I could stand over both of them and say this one fabulous thing. They were always so good to me. God bless y'all.